Here we go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Merge Feast. Blake here, back with Logan and Brandon. What up?
Hello, hello.
All right, so past several weeks, talked about kind of top 3 heroes, top 3 villains, all the different stuff there. I kind of want to focus still on New Era this week, but I'm curious if we can get to like a top 3 seasons of the New Era. And there's some good ones, there's some bad ones, but I think it'd be fun to kind of talk through that and be curious to see if people agree with us or not. So,
yeah,
I like it.
I'm into it.
All right, Brandon, our Survivor savant,
Wikipedia, and then in the flesh.
I guess kind of give us a recap of 41 through 48.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Before we do that, though, I think we should talk about, or would you rather do the recap first and then talk about what makes a great season? Or
let's go and do what makes a great season, and then that'll help as we're going through the recap.
Yeah. All right. So I'll go first on what I think makes a great season. I think that a lot of people answer that question differently, which is good because it's subjective. But when I think of great seasons, first and foremost, it comes down to the cast. Did I like the cast? Did the cast play the game how I enjoy watching the cast play the game? Was there aggressive gameplay? Was there great blindsides? Was there really smart and unique strategy? Tying that into having unique twists that I think are favorable for the game players and not game breaking and nonsensical like some of the ones that we've seen in recent seasons, and ultimately having all of that tie into having a great winner. Am I satisfied with the winner? Do I feel like not only am I satisfied with the winner's gameplay, but am I satisfied with the way that Survivor production and the editing team presented the winner's story to me? I don't know where you guys are at on that. That's kind of, for me, that's kind of the core of how I look at a great season.
No, and I'm the same way. I think it's definitely fun talking to other people that look at it differently, and I think the biggest thing there is around the gameplay and how aggressive some of that is. I think, and I could be saying this wrong, but I feel like all three of us like some sort of more of an aggressive gameplay, and I think that is definitely something that makes or breaks it for me. If it's not that more aggressive or having the blind sides or good alliances, that's a big part for me. But everything you said, I won't go back through all of it, obviously, but everything that you said was right on point for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And ideally, like, the best season is going to have like top tier things in each of those categories, from the cast, the gameplay, the twist, to the winner. But I think as we go through this, as I'm kind of thinking through those seasons, there's a lot of seasons that are great in some areas and not so great in others, that are still, some of my favorites. So, and I think most recent season is just a really good example on how, like, controversial it was as far as like people loving it or people hating it. And, we've talked so much, we don't need to go back into that necessarily, but it was different, and it's not necessarily the gameplay that I like, but the cast was awesome. It kind of made up for some of that lack of gameplay, and so I'm kind of weighing all that out as we're going to talk through all of these seasons, because it doesn't have to be like perfect all the way around for it to be one of the best.
For sure.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. But yeah, I've got was just thinking about it and kind of put together a quick summary of each of the New Era seasons. So there's obviously been 8 of them, 41 through 48. Now this is just kind of quick, off the cuff, just not putting a lot of thought into it with each of these seasons. So just bear with me a little bit. If I forget anything, let us know if I forgot something that we should have recognized here. And you guys as well, Blake and Logan. But so Survivor 41 was first season of the New Era, and the New Era came with major realignment and changes within the format of Survivor. So you went from 39 days to 26 days, which meant that everything was condensed and everything was faster paced. And I think that Survivor 41 was largely an experiment, and there were a lot of growing pains in that, and I think that it showed through much of the season. I think the cast did a great job navigating the new era of Survivor and kind of putting forth a little bit of a blueprint for what we saw. But we had, in my opinion, a poorly edited winner in Erica. I never felt like I understood how she won the game and how she got to where she was and how the jury felt that she was worthy of the game. I remember feeling strongly that, oh, Xander is going to win this game easily. Yeah. And Xander obviously kind of blew it at Final Tribal, but when Erica won, I was kind of like, are we sure? Now, we've said it time and time again, and so as contestants and Jeff himself, you deserve to win the season that you won. So not taking anything away from Erica.
For sure.
But it just felt dissatisfying as a viewer. And going back to my criteria, winner's a big part of that for me. Talking about twists, one of the worst twists in Survivor history.
Oh, man,
the do or die twist or not the do or die twist, but the hourglass twist at the Mergatory episode, where there's an odd number of people playing, split 6 here, 6 here. They do a team challenge. There's one member in the middle that gets sent to Exile Island, and they have the opportunity to reverse what happened at the challenge, which nonsense. I don't know why it was ever a thing.
Yeah, awful. Might be one of the worst in the like history.
I would put it. Yeah, I would have to really think about it. But when I think about bad twists, that one just immediately comes to mind.
Yep.
Of what on earth are we thinking there?
And the do or die twist was not great either. Like,
yeah,
it played out okay for the show, but if it would have gone any other way and Deshaun goes home, like, how stupid.
Yeah, no. When Survivor, the foundation of Survivor is you have to get voted out by your peers, and Deshaun gets handed this situation where, hey, we're going to play a game of chance. You have a 1 in 3 chance of being safe, or 2 in 3. Either way, it was really silly. Go draw this card or roll this dice, whatever it was. You roll the wrong one or draw the wrong one, you're just done. Your game's over through no fault of your own other than
chance.
You pick the wrong card.
And I'm trying to remember, is that before the dice that they have now? What's that? Why am I blanking on it? Where they can
Shot in the dark.
Shot in the dark. Was that in place of Shot in the Dark, and then or Shot in the Dark took?
No, Shot in the Dark. Shot in the Dark's a new era thing,
right?
Did
that start in 41?
Shot in the Dark, yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, Do or Die was just like, I don't fully remember how it went down, but I think it was one of those things where somebody got it at camp or at the challenge, and Jeff was like, don't read this until we get to tribal council, some nonsense like that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And I think we're spending way longer on 41 than I intended to, but that's fine. I think 41 obviously was the first of the new era, and I think that they were just really trying to reinvent the game. If you remember all the marketing of 41, this game's a monster, and they were really trying to build it up as this huge, crazy thing, and I think they just kind of overdid it with 41.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it makes sense. It was during COVID, right? And so I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about how interesting it was, and how like going from 39 days to 26, and that was strategic so that they could quarantine before the show, and then realize like, hey, we can still pack a heck of a show into this and not have to worry about any extra visas or extra money for, extending this trip out another week. And like that turned out to be a really good change. And I don't know, for that reason 41 will always like kind of hold that special place. But yeah, it was the beginning of something new, and it's only gotten better.
I mean, anytime you have something new for the first time, or you're trying something out, I don't feel like it ever goes smoothly or the way you think it should, or work like grand scheme of things. I think we're starting to see some of that, especially towards the middle seasons after they figure out some of that. But obviously, first season, new, great, whatever, but not one of the best for sure.
Yeah. Let's move on to 42. Now, I think most people know this, but if they don't, Survivor films their seasons back to back. So 41 and 42 are filmed back to back. Then they wait a year. 43 and 44 are filmed together, and so on. So early in the new era, what they did was 41 and 42, or the scenes that the seasons that were filmed together, kind of had the same themes and twists. So 42 is basically a rehash of 41, and it's essentially a copy and paste with the twists. I don't think they did Do or Die in 42, but they did do the Hourglass twist. And I think this season was better than 41. Marianne won this season. Marianne, I personally thought for the first part of the season was very annoying, but ended up growing on me. This season gave us Jonathan, who is on season 50. Jonathan, I don't know if it's recency bias, but I've never seen anybody just destroy and navigate challenges the way that Jonathan did. Jonathan was single-handedly winning challenges for his tribe. There was a challenge that Jonathan won by himself, basically, that production had to stop because the other two teams could not handle the water. They had to pull them out of the water and start the rest of the challenge on the beach. When Jonathan basically just put the team on his back for his tribe and was like, whatever.
He pulled the people was dragging the people out of the water, doing everything.
But yeah, this season more of the same. Better than 41. Still very obvious that they're trying to find their footing with 42, or with the new era rather. And the players are still kind of trying to figure how to play the new era.
Yeah.
I think the biggest difference here between 41 and 42, I think the editing was definitely better, but I think the cast made a bigger difference. I think I like the cast in 42 quite a bit better than 41.
Yeah, I agree. No, I think that's a really good point that you made earlier, Brandon, that remembering that those seasons are filmed back to back. And I think once you start to realize that and pick up on it, you'll start to realize like similarities, but then also you'll notice big shifts in the game after that. So I think when we go and move on and start talking about season 43, I mean, it's a step up in my opinion. And so it's like 41 and 42 are kind of, mid-level. 43 and 44 elevate, and then like it's like every 2 seasons it kind of elevates and changes slightly, because the contestants are watching the show, and I don't know. Once I started to realize that, I was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense, and it's kind of cool to see how the game changes. So
yeah. Let's move on to 43. I think at the time, like you said, Blake, whoa, this is really good. 43 was and still is a solid season in the new era. I think something that was interesting about Survivor 43, I don't want to say controversial winner, because I think that's a little bit overblown, but definitely not a popular winner in Gabler. Also, not who the audience expected to win that season. It was kind of, with the final three that was there, it was kind of expected that Cassidy was going to win. But I also felt that we had a bitter jury in 43, and a bitter jury can kind of sour a season a little bit. I don't think it soured a season, but it definitely kind of, put a little damper on the ending. But
For sure.
I think that also goes to show, like, when you talk about editing with, between Gabler and Cassidy, maybe they wanted us to feel like Cassidy was going to win, to surprise us that Gabler was going to win.
And then Gabler he was the one that donated
Yeah.
He donated
the
everything.
entire million, which was kind of a cool moment. But part of me felt like, people voted for him to win because they knew he was going to give it away, kind of a deal. And I don't know. It just didn't. The winner didn't sit well with me. I don't hate Gabler's game or dislike him. Just wasn't who I thought kind of deserved to win. And honestly, looking at the cast, the top six, I think I said this last week, but I think if 4, 5, and 6 would have been 1, 2, and 3, it would have been a game changer. So in this order, so it was Gabler, Cassidy, Owen in the final 3, and then you had Jesse, Carla, and Cody. Imagine what that finale would have been like with Jesse, Carla, and Cody. In my opinion, would have been one of the best seasons in the new era, easily. And it still may be up there. I would think potentially top 3, maybe top 4. But I think that right there, I don't know. We often say, like, the best players on the season rarely win, which sounds weird. Obviously, if you win the game, you're the best player by definition. But a lot of times you see the best players in the game don't make it to the end or don't win. And I think this is a classic example. I think the 3 best players in the game didn't even make top 3.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I will say something great about 43 is we've talked about Jesse extensively on this podcast, and Survivor 43 was late 2022 when that aired, I believe.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're still talking about Jesse as one of the best players of the new era, with 5 seasons have aired since his show, I mean, that is obviously a single cast member doesn't necessarily make a season. Sometimes it does, but to be able to still be talking about that, like, that alone makes me look at season 43 in a more positive light, and it kind of puts it up the list for me.
For sure.
So, season 44.
What a season.
This is the introduction of Carolyn, who we've talked about again a lot on this podcast. Probably, maybe the face of New Era Survivor. I don't know if I'm sure there's somebody that doesn't like her, but more people like her than don't. Everybody roots for her. We were all hoping that she was going to be on Survivor 50. She was not. We've seen her on The Traitors do really, really well there, and just a great cast member in a pretty awesome alliance with the Three Stooges, with Carson, who is doing 3D prints of Survivor challenges and studying before he goes, and then being paired with Jam Jam, who was the sole survivor of 44. This, to me, this season is when I felt like New Era really found its footing and was starting to figure it out and understand how to put this version of Survivor together and present it to the audience in a way that is satisfying as well. Because ever since 44, now we've talked about 48 extensively, the seasons have just gotten better and better as they've gone.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, and I don't know if 44 was much more elevated than 43 for me. It was elevated above 42, and kind of going back to those 2 seasons, because 44 didn't get to see 43 play. So it was like, okay, this is our interpretation of the next evolution of the game since we've seen, season 41 and 42. And so it definitely elevated the game in kind of a different way than season 43. And I like it a lot. I think, I don't think there was as many like just kind of great players, but everybody was really fun to watch and really good. No, not like any standout like dominant players, like highlighting Jesse, like we talk about him all the time, like you said, but we don't have that person in this season
outside of
Carolyn
Carolyn's
was kind of the standout, but it wasn't
Not necessarily
from
gameplay.
a domination.
Yeah.
for sure. She was just so like kind of kooky and different and weird, and I don't know, definitely kind of a different game style. But those three and their alliance, and that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was one of the first seasons that I remember in the new era where they started getting into more of like the people's individual story, and like with Carolyn and Jam and
Yeah.
and we saw it a little bit before, but it was like we're really diving into people's feelings and grabbing at emotions and heartstrings,
Yeah.
and just like, hey, I'm just being myself, and Survivor has kind of definitely steered that direction over the years, but that was a big highlight for this season 44.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at 44's cast, and obviously the Three Stooges cast that we recognize. But Heidi, who was the runner-up that season, she kind of made a post-merge push and had a real shot to win.
Yeah.
You had Jamie, who was very, very unaware all the time, thought she was doing things that she was actually not doing. But yeah, I like season 44. But yeah, let's move on because we got a few more to talk about. Season 45. This season, I think, special to all of us. This is the first season of Survivor that we covered on the Merge Feast, and where we established our brand and who we are. Kind of fumbled through that, so if you want to go listen to those episodes, go do it.
I was just gonna say, I don't recommend anybody going back to listen.
Please.
I kind of, we probably should.
Yeah.
Do like a reaction video one.
Oh gosh, that'd be so awful.
So cringe.
But yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's break down 45. So this is actually the first season that they started doing 90-minute episodes just regularly, and where I felt that enhanced Survivor tremendously, because for years, it was 60 minutes, and pre-merged, you didn't really feel like you got to know a lot of the pre-merged people. And with the 90-minute episodes, it felt like you were able to spend time on everybody's story and kind of get to know each tribe, what's going on there, and what just kind of the personal dynamics and personal stories of each castaway. And I think this is when the gameplay probably really started. I know I said 44 is where it started finding its footing, but this is where it was like, okay, we've got this figured out. We have a plan. We're going to nail this. And we had, I think, one of the best alliances from start to finish with the Reba 4, with Dee, Julie, Austin, and Drew, along with people like Jake and Uncle Bruce, Katura,
Emily.
yeah, Emily, Caleb, so many great players. Tiffany, a really solid cast that you could make an argument that most of them deserve a second chance, and multiple of them are getting their second chance on Survivor 50, so we'll get to see that play out in the spring. But I think this has probably the best winner of the new era in Dee. I think she's the most well-rounded player in all aspects of the game. Outwit, outlast, outplay, social, strategic, Am I forgetting something?
Physical.
Physical. Thank you.
Challenges.
I'm like, there's 3 there that I want to say, but it's gone. Yeah, great season.
Yeah,
I think
100% top to bottom, just great season all the way around. And again, it just elevated Survivor another step up. And I think you're spot on, though, that the 90-minute episodes, I think, did a lot for the show, where it wasn't just the gameplay. You got to see a little more behind the scenes. You got to know the characters, get to know the players a little bit more. And it just, especially shortening down the season and cramming in so much, I didn't realize how much we were missing by only watching 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, with a commercial, it's really another, 18 to 20 minutes. But they pack a lot in there, and it's like, I haven't even thought about it. Like, going back, like, oh, I wish it was only 60 minutes since then.
Yeah,
like
I do.
Not
it seems
once.
weird to me that it wasn't always 90 minutes.
Yeah, I do have a point that I'll get to later on the 90 versus 60 minute. I'll say I have a point about it for another season, but
Okay.
I'll share it then.
Last thing, and I know you mentioned it for that season, but that being our first season that we covered on the Merge Feast, I think, like you said, makes it that much more special. Obviously not in the grand scheme of things for just being Survivor and what that season was, but for us it's a special one.
Yep. Yeah. 46. Absolutely love this season. I think this is the most drama-filled season of Survivor in the new era. Really messy, both on the island and on social media during the season, after the season. There's a lot of stuff going down. Kinsey won this season. Fantastic winner.
Yes.
Her social gameplay was top tier.
Some of the best ever.
Yeah. Having players like Q and Liz with her Applebee's thing and all of the things she's allergic to, and
Pissed.
pretending to be a millionaire throughout much of the show. You had the Charlie and Maria alliance that ended up falling at the end of the season, and a lot of postseason backlash just because a lot of people felt like Charlie should have won that season, and Maria voted. People felt like Maria voted for Kinsey just to make sure that Charlie didn't win.
Yeah.
Now, again, not taking away from Kinsey. Loved Kinsey's gameplay. Loved her win.
Sure.
I do think that there was some bitterness there. Now, obviously, everybody's entitled to their vote, and I don't think that situation does anything that makes me like this season less, though. I loved that season.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think there definitely was some bitterness there, because otherwise there wouldn't have been such a falling out after the show, and not a rekindling of a friendship there. But top to bottom, from the first player out, Jelinski,
Yeah.
once again,
How do I forget Jelinski?
and then the drama that was Banu.
I was going to say, Brandon, you missed the most drama there. You didn't even mention Banu.
I know. I try to forget about Banu.
But it was like, I remember that season being on such a roller coaster, with Yanu, with Q and Tiffany and Kinsey and Banu. It's like, oh my gosh, just get me off of this train right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to like, okay, I'm kind of rooting for this people, and then being happy that Kinsey won, but a little disappointed that Charlie didn't. And it was such a roller coaster, and I love that season.
Yeah. No, I think I remember, because it was pre-merge was very heavily focused on Yanu and Banu specifically, and I feel like I remember saying on the podcast that I'm like, I don't know if I can do another week at this guy. I just it's not entertaining. It's not fun. I'm just annoyed after every episode.
Because it was like, what, 2 or 3 episodes in a row. It just seemed like they were fully focused on him, nothing else. And it was just drama after drama, him crying, going back. It was just, I was over it.
Yep.
When you look at, so I'm on the Survivor Wiki right now, the first 4 people voted out, or the first 4 people out of the game, it was Yanu, and then Brandon, who was medically evacuated, which saved Yanu from going home again, and then was Yanu, and then it completely switched and was the Green Tribe, Siga, and then Nami, and it was like just all over the place.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Great season.
Yeah. So let's move on to season 47. I think season 47 is the most well-rounded season of the new era.
Yeah.
Fantastic winner in Rachel, the Rice Thief.
Yep.
Genevieve,
Phenomenal player.
best player to not win the new era, most likely.
Yeah.
1A, 1B with Jesse. We've talked about that a lot as well.
Sure.
Best gameplay, one of the best moves in Survivor history with Operation Italy, with Genevieve, Andy, and Sam taking out Caroline. They were going after Rachel, but had to pivot to take out Caroline. Solid cast. Let's just go
See
through
what you
that
did there.
real quick,
Saul.
starting with Saul. John Lovett, memorable first boot.
I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would love to see him play again.
Yeah, Annika, you had Rome, who we probably remember for the wrong reasons. Just somebody that I think had this idea of who he was going to play as in his head. And in theory, it probably was awesome, but in practice, it didn't hit well with his tribe mates. It didn't hit well with the audience. It was just, get this guy off on my screen.
Yeah.
There's a difference between trying to be in control of your tribe a la Boss and Rob and just make sure that you don't miss a thing. And then there's what was just essentially bullying that Rome was doing to Saul specifically. And we talked about that last week or the week before and how Saul just handled that with
Class.
so much class. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, loved this season. Like I said, Caroline, Andy, who I had to get you guys on my side. I was rooting for Andy for weeks before you guys jumped on the train. You guys just
were.
didn't see it. Now, granted,
It took me a while.
His first episode was not pretty. Didn't stand up and clap for me when I broke a coconut or whatever he said. But Rachel, Sam, Sue, who hated Kyle because he wrote her name down.
And always had some great makeup on.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And I mean, this season had everything from the strategic to the goat that got drugged to final 3. Sorry, Sue.
Yep.
To a great winner, to a memorable cast, just all the way. I mean, there was kind of the villain character with Rome. I mean, it just seemed, like you said, to be so well rounded, and it had everything.
I mean, even with the idols and the way they had to find them and the twist on that with Sue and the red paint and just different things that we hadn't seen before. I mean, just can't complain.
That red paint was still one of my favorite kind of twists or advantages.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say the Beware advantage overall that they added in the new era has been a huge positive in my opinion because they've managed to keep it fresh and change it up virtually every season. I still think my favorite is the first version of it where
Yep.
the people that find it have to say some stupid sentence
Oh, yeah.
pre-challenge. Loved that and would love to see that come back. But yeah, 47, I think it's top tier. And I would say, and I might be getting ahead of myself, but 47, just if you looked at all 48 seasons that we've seen as a whole, I would put 47 up there. Just taking it outside of the new era as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so too. And once again, 47 is after the 2 seasons that were aired back to back, and once again elevated. So, I mean, you start to see a theme there that third season, or I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
so that it always gets taken up a notch.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the most recent season that we've covered and the audience, has seen as a whole. 45, great. 46 got better. 47 got better. 48. This is one of those things where, what makes a great season is completely subjective, because this is very much you love it or you hate it. And this season, honestly, loved the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Cast was great.
Cast was
and
great.
Made up for a lot of the downfalls of the season.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of the feel good moments. I went back and watched. It was a clip on Facebook, but it was the moment with Joe and Eva, and when she completed the challenge, and Joe had to calm her down, and had the moment with Jeff, and Jeff cries, and I'm like, how is somebody watching this and not like absolutely loving this?
Yeah.
Like you can't watch that and not just feel good. Now, doesn't make it the best season of Survivor, in my opinion, but it was just a good, feel good kind of kumbaya. I don't know. It was fun. The cast made up for so much of the lack of gameplay, though, because there wasn't.
Yeah,
much.
I mean, post-merge, when you think about post-merge, there was no idle hunting. There's really no idle plays. It felt like every advantage or journey that happened, Eva went on and then came back and just came clean anyway.
Yep.
So there weren't really any secrets either, other than the Kyle and Camilla alliance, which was fantastic. And I still think one of the most unique things we've seen on Survivor is for a duo to make it all the way to the end in secret.
Honestly, those two made the season not be like bottom tier for me. Because the cast is good enough. Like I would watch it again because I enjoyed the cast so much. But without Kyle and Camilla, and maybe Shaheen,
Yeah.
it's a cool cast. But like,
And
I'm very, very happy with the winner. I think whether it was Kyle or Camilla, I would have been happy with it. I'm glad, Joe or Eva didn't win. I wouldn't have hated Joe to win, but I think Kyle definitely deserved it gameplay wise. So it definitely kind of made it a little better.
And
I think.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say with Kyle, I think Kyle, obviously having the secret alliance with Camilla, Kyle navigated the middle so well and was able to keep both Joe and Eva and David and the milkman David happy, and keep Camilla happy as well. And just played a really solid game overall. What were you going to say, Logan?
And I think with the Kyle Camilla relationship there, I think her alliance, it was really cool to see, like you said, them get to the end, but then also Camilla be rooting for Kyle. I mean, even like in the jury, she's like, "I've got you," like setting up questions, and like even though that she didn't win or whatever, like she was rooting and wanting, like pushing for that. It wasn't just that relationship wasn't severed, kind of like Maria and Charlie back in a couple seasons previous.
Yeah. No.
And remind me, I know they were on the same tribe initially, and then they transitioned over to the other tribe, but they weren't like incredibly close that first go around, were they?
With the tribe swap?
Before the tribe swap, like the initial tribe they were on.
I think they bonded over being Guyanese.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. But I don't think they weren't necessarily in an alliance. And then it was like as soon as that tribe swap happened, and they like navigated that without talking to each other.
Getting Thomas out.
Yeah.
Which
brilliant.
Thomas would love to see Thomas play again.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like from that moment on, it was like, dang, these two are here to play. So.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to go back because I said earlier that I wanted to talk about the 90 minutes versus 60 minutes. I might have said it during our coverage of Survivor 48. I do feel like this season in particular, the 90 minutes it wasn't fully a negative, but just the fact that there was not much happening this season. It was like we are just filling up 90 minutes with filler, basically. With
More
nothing.
sitting
We're
around around
putting
camp than
lipstick on a
anything.
pig. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that might be a little extreme, but it's like, oh, there's nothing happening, and I'm just kind of waiting for episodes to be over. Or is the whole time we're like, this is the episode that it's going to happen. Something surely has to happen. Somebody surely has to flip. Something. Come on, guys. And
Yeah.
finally, it happens with David, and then it's just more nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the seasons of the new era.
Just
Well,
a few of them.
I've got my top 5. I know there's 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 6,
Here's 8.
8. Yeah, that makes sense.
Need
Sorry.
2 hands for that.
Carry the
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, it's late. I haven't had coffee in like 12 hours. I don't know. Yeah, no, I have easily top 5.
I could.
Shout them out. Let's hear it.
In no particular order: 43, 45, 46, 47, 48.
43, 45, 46, 47, 48.
Okay.
Yeah, I could be down with that. I think 41 and 42 are the weakest seasons.
Absolutely.
For reasons that we discussed previously. 41 obviously being new era and kind of trying to fumble through some of the big changes and maybe overreaching on some of the twists that we've seen or that they presented to us. And then 42 being, again, kind of the same.
Yeah.
In 44, I mean, I think I look at that. I liked the Three Stooges alliance. Really liked Carolyn. I don't really, if I'm going and somebody's like, hey, what new era seasons do you recommend watching first? I don't think 44 is super high on that list.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
I like that list.
43, 45, 46, 47, and 48. But
Do you want me to put them in order?
Ooh.
well, yeah, let's hear it. I think give me your top 3.
So
Or you know what? Actually, work
start at 5.
backwards. Work backwards. Yeah.
So I'll start at 5. For me, 5th place would be 48.
Yep. Agree.
4th place would be 43. This is where it gets tough. 3rd place, 46. 2nd place, 45. And 1st place, 47.
So
And I could switch 1 and 2.
I don't have any issues there.
I think I agree with you, Logan. I think though, what were you were gonna switch 1 and 2? Like you could switch 45 and 47.
Yeah, I could. I could see an argument for it, but like 47 is my favorite.
I think no if, ands, or buts. 47 is the best season of the new era, and it's not even close. It's like, I'm about to make a football analogy here, but it's like Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, and then it's everybody else is trying to be the second best quarterback, right? That's to me the way that I look at that. I think that season is so good, just all around. I think that you could put it up next to old school seasons and really enjoy what you're seeing.
I think the only, and I'm sticking with 47 as the number 1 spot. But when I look back at the cast of 45, I think the top 5 or top 6 players were just a little stronger for me. But as far as like all the way around, like encompassing the entire season, 47 for sure.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at like who were the final 5, final 6, I think those players were slightly better in 45. But
I think
again,
with 45, for me, I remember being frustrated post-merge with the remaining Bello members and about to beatbox remaining Lulu members not working together to go after the Reba tribe. It felt like all they had to do was come together for 1 or 2 votes, and they could have flipped the power in that game, and they just weren't doing it. We talked about it last week with Jake being a day late and a dollar short, and that's kind of how a lot of those players were, where you had Katura tunnel visioning on Bruce when that shouldn't have been the mission. The mission should have been bringing Bruce and bringing Jake and bringing can't remember who else at the top of my head was there, but and saying, hey guys, we have an opportunity here. If we just work together, if we just put our differences aside, we can take out D, Drew, Austin, or Julie, and all of a sudden we're in charge and they answer to us. And I remember that being a big frustration. But
yeah, I mean,
that also
taking Katura and Jake out of there, and I love Jake. I'll always be a fan of Jake. But the rest of those top people, D, Austin, Julie, Drew, and Emily, it's like, man, those are some strong players, a strong cast. But I'm with you. 47, like, all-encompassing, top to bottom, just great. It had everything.
I honestly wasn't complaining the initial list you gave, Blake. I thought you nailed it, so I wouldn't change it. I think some great seasons. Like we said, the first 2 seasons not the best, but had some great ones, some really standout seasons, and definitely ones that I think were going to be fun to go back and watch. I don't think obviously all of them are, but 47, 45, I mean, I could go back and watch those at any point and enjoy them just as much as I did the first time, if not more. So
yeah,
I'm with you, Brandon. I think you said earlier, if you were going to go back and recommend somebody watch one of the seasons to get into Survivor, 47 is up there with any of them of all time. I don't know if it would be my number one, but it'd be pretty close.
Yeah,
really close. So I don't know. I'm hoping we get some more of that with season 49.
absolutely.
So, and as much as I couldn't stand Rome, I keep saying it. I want a villain, or I want kind of that
Animosity.
just somebody to kind of stir stuff up.
You want that.
And
You want somebody to root against, but also respect. Right?
yeah,
I think Russell is the greatest villain of all time, and I think Russell is a great example of you're meant to root against him, but you respect what he's doing, and you want to see more of what he has to offer.
Yeah.
Where Rome, you're just like, dude, get off my screen. What are you even doing?
Yeah.
So,
and I think 48 is a really good example of what happens to a season if there's nobody that you're like really rooting against. Because you like everybody. Like, how do you? I don't want to vote anybody. And I got, David was a little, I'm ready for you to be gone. But like, there was nobody that I was just like, oh my gosh, can't stand this guy, or causing too much drama. You got to get him out. So I don't know. We need some diversity in the villain department.
yeah. No, I think that's a really solid list. Honestly, great discussion overall. So 47, 45, 46, 43, 48.
Yep.
That's our
Way to
list.
go in order there.
Yeah, thank you. That's our list. Let us know your list.
You can tell us if you disagree, and you will be wrong, but I would love to hear it. Also, big news. They announced the cast of 49, right?
I saw an article. I'm pretty sure I saw an article today that listed who the players were, had pictures of them, listed name, age, hometown, and then like their occupation. It didn't list like what like anything that they said, but outside of that, I saw everything. So
Yeah,
Nice.
That'll be something to get into next month.
Yeah.
upcoming.
Probably a week or two before the I almost said finale, the premiere.
Yeah,
So stay tuned for that. We'll kind of do a deep dive on each player, and I don't know. We may. I don't think last year we didn't do the draft.
no,
last year
we did not.
I don't know.
last year.
I don't know if we will this year or not, but we may kind of pick some teams or pick who we kind of just initial who we think is gonna win, and I think it'll also be kind of fun to try to figure out who is going to be on season 50,
It's true.
because we don't know who the person is from 49,
Correct.
so that'll kind of be fun to try to figure out before that comes out.
Yeah,
So,
I like it. I think we talked about it last week. I think we plan on taking a couple weeks off here just to kind of reset and get ready for Survivor 49. I think coming back, so having the 27th or the 29th and the 5th off. We're definitely not recording this on Wednesday night. And coming back on the 12th and going over that cast and just going full steam ahead on 49, I think will be good.
I like it.
Perfect.
I like it. So, see you guys back in 2 weeks. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody tuning in. You know where to find us. Links are down below. We'll have the email. Yeah, that's all I've got. Go ahead and say goodbye, Logan.
Goodbye, Logan.